as I mentioned in the first video, I just sort of was looking for a medium to give some analysis and some deeper dive thoughts on the 1500 meters, the event that I'm most passionate about. It's the event that I've been doing my whole career, but been a huge fan of before I ever even started, even dreamed that I could compete at this level. But now that I'm finished with the games and I'm not going to be competing against these same guys in the final, here's the opportunity that I can actually give public analysis. I'm not actually going to be lining up. Now I'm really excited for the 1500 meter final as a fan. In the past when I haven't made it, I was just a little bit bittersweet. I wasn't sure if I would be able to really stomach watching it, and it's hard to cheer on the guys. But I am. I've got a lot of friends in the race, and I can really watch as a fan for the first time that I truly feel like I can give some objective analysis or objective fandom to the race, if that's the right way to term it. But yeah, only 5 hours to go, so it's going to be a good one. I just went back and rewatched both of the semifinals a couple of times because when I was in them, I was focused on what I was doing right. But now I've just gone back and really looked on the faces of the athletes. It's something I've always liked to do. Is you can tell a lot by looking in the close-ups when they do the replays of the final 100 meters. Who's straining, who's really forcing it, how relaxed, how comfortable, or how much did someone really have to force their way into making a final. And I was actually quite surprised. I think if you jump to the second semi-final, I guess my initial assumption that was that Abel Kipsang, the Kenyan who broke the Olympic record in the semi-final, I was like, well, maybe that was probably a little bit too much to run 3:31.6 in the semi. He may not have a lot left in the final. But I went back and watched it, and he ran a 26 point for the last 200 meters. That's good going. I thought that it was just a fast pace, but actually closed really hard, and he finished the race probably breathing the least of all of the other runners. And then as everyone was congregating around, you're waiting under the scoreboard looking for the results. There's also some pretty intimidating stairs that the athletes have to climb afterwards to go through all of the media. They take you up probably the equivalent of 2 stories. You go past all of the different media things, then you got to walk back down the stairs before they take you under the stadium. And Abel he took off his spikes and he started double stepping up them. My legs were shot going up those stairs. That's why the guys were waiting around a while. They wanted to catch their breath back. They wanted to get the lactate out of their legs. They wanted to just have their legs under them a little bit more before they had to climb those flights of stairs. But he just stormed on up them in 2 steps at a time. So he initially wasn't going to be one of my favorites for a medal, but I think I have to consider him as one of the, well, you'd be foolish not to, right? And as a serious medal contender. So he's going to be one of my 5. I'm going to give you 5 people who I think have a legitimate shot at a medal here. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, the other guy from that semi-final, I think he was second, 3:32 low. He looked like he was trying to run the least amount of energy used as possible to get through, but at the same time, because he's such a great athlete, he wanted to make sure that his position was secure, and he covered all of the right moves, he did all the right things. But then after the race, I saw him give himself a little bit of a clap, and I almost wondered, was that him almost a little unsure, that sort of it's not necessarily a sign of confidence. He's trying to reassure himself or his fans back home in Norway or whatever. So it made me wonder that might have been a little more tough than what he had anticipated he'd have to do. But I mean, he ran 3:32 low. It's not always easy. And guys who expect to win or expect to have a medal, sometimes you go into those semifinals and you don't have all of the adrenaline going. You often sort of come in a little lethargic because you don't really commit to the race, and that might have been the case for Jakob. But yeah, I was surprised looking at his body language after the race that maybe he was a little bit more tired than what he expected. But he's definitely going to be the other person from that heat who I think has got a legitimate shot at a medal. There might be others, I might be completely wrong, but those 2 guys from the second semi-final I think are in with him shot. And then the other 3 come from the first semi-final. That was the one I was in. I won't talk about how my race went, but I got a view of how the runners were going, and I guess my first observation was how easily Chariot got to the front. The first 100 meters was fast. I said I wasn't going to talk about my own race, but it felt like I was going at a decent clip the first 100 meters, but he had a whole nother couple of steps on all of us, even though Fontes, the Spanish runner, tried to get out hard to the front and perhaps slow it down. But Chariot got to the front. He controlled the race right from the beginning. That told me that And I've thought about this about Chariot in the past. He's got such a long stride. He's got a unique running form. He really doesn't like being stuck in a pack. He doesn't get to be in his rhythm and all that. And so my initial thought was that maybe at these games he may not try and run his 3:29 from the front sort of thing, because there is some serious contenders that might be able to draft off of him throughout the race. But I think no matter what, I think his plan is going to be to go to the front and get out of traffic. He doesn't want his stride being impeded, and that confirmed to me. That would be my guess for this race. He is going to go to the front. I don't know if he's going to push hard right from the gun. We'll have to wait and see. But Chariot, he was passed by Whiteman 200 to go. Whiteman looked really good. And then again, sure, you get passed by one guy. That might have been a mental lapse for Chariot, right, after Whiteman went around him. But then Chariot ended up getting passed by young Cole Hocker, the 20-year-old out of Oregon. And Hocker looked really, really good as well. And all three of those guys, I think, have equally legitimate chances at a medal. And I think it really depends on the type of race. Hocker obviously has unbelievable closing speed in sort of a moderately fast race. We saw that at the US trials when it was 3:35 low. I think he can still unleash that sort of kick on a 3:33 type race. So if any part of the race lags a little bit, in the middle laps, there might be a slight hesitation. I think that Hocker is one who he legitimately could win it. I think that's a potential. I think Whiteman has a little bit more of a range. He could win a 3:30 to 3:32 race as well. And he has really good long closing speed. He's run 144. But he's not as patient as Hocker. He often will make a big move down the back straight, which is benefit him in the right type of race, but it also can sometimes catch up to him in the last 70 meters. So I think Whiteman's got a legitimate shot, and Chariot, it's really hard to know, because he got passed by those two guys, and normally once you get to the front, you don't like getting passed by people, but maybe he's being coy. We'll have to wait and see. So there's my five. If I had to say who the favorite was, it'd be hard to go past Chariot, but I think I'm going to go for Ingebrigtsen. I just think that he's got all of the tools to handle any type of race, and I think he has the patience to not have to lead it early on. The big question mark is what's Stuart McSweyn going to do, right? He led his first race in the first round. He led it after 400 meters. In the semi-final, he led it with 900 meters to go. He is a guy who potentially could win a medal in one particular type of race. So he's my 5+1. If Chariot tries to run a 3:27, 3:28 race, then that brings McSweyn right into the race, because then it's just a complete war of attrition. Closing speed is completely irrelevant, right? And he'll hang on the back of whatever pace goes, and he'll hang on for dear life. And I think that would be my guess of what he's hoping. I don't think he wants to do the work in the final, because he's experienced guys passing him in the home straight in both the heat and the semi. But if Chariot or Ingebrigtsen does the work early on, and all Stewie has to do is hang on, like he potentially... So that's the sort of race that could suit him. But I think I'd go Ingebrigtsen, and then I would go Hocker for silver and Kipsang for third. I know that sounds like a crazy prediction, but that's going to be my prediction. I think it's going to be a 3:32 race. I think it's going to be sort of a fartlek-y type of race. The first 300 will be really fast, and then the second lap's going to slow right down, and then Chariot's going to try a long drive hard from home after already having led the first bit, and then the last 70 meters, I think Ingebrigtsen, I think all of the guys are going to go around him, and Chariot may not quite have that extra gear that he's been showing in other races. He seemed to lapse a little bit in the semi-final, and so I think Ingebrigtsen's going to have a little bit too much of a lead for Hocker to close on, but I think Hocker's going to get second, and watch for Kipsang with a withering sprint to get third. So hey, I could be completely wrong in three different guys, but that's my picks, and I don't have anyone I particularly have a favorite that I personally like to win. I'm probably the Brits I'm probably closest with personally, but I like a lot of the different guys, and I'm gonna who knows what Josh Kerr might even be able to sneak one out. He ran that incredible negative split 800 the other week, but it'd be a little bit of a surprise, but anything can happen in a 1500 meter final. The other factor I haven't even mentioned is that a typhoon is supposed to arrive this evening. It's supposed to be torrential rain coming So if it starts pouring down with rain, that might completely throw plans out the door. There's 3 Kendons of the race. Are they going to work together? Are they going to help pace Chariot, or are they going to help block the runners behind him? Or are they going to run individual races? There's so many different factors. It's going to be fascinating. So I'm excited to watch. We're up to 10 minutes, so I'm going to sign off right now. But let me know your thoughts, everyone. And we'll have a good chat after the race as well tomorrow.